History begins with a scent, wet silt and wood smoke on the great rivers of the world. By the Tigris and Euphrates, a woman presses grain into fertile mud. Along the Nile, neighbors trade salt and stories. A clay tablet dries in the sun, a promise recorded in stone. For the first time, with the rise of farming, writing, and cities, human planning could stretch beyond a single season. From the Indus Valley to the Yellow River, civilizations rose. But how did millions of strangers learn to trust one another? They built systems, shared beliefs, codified in rules, rituals, and records that could travel farther than a human voice. In the Middle East, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam wove morality into law, binding communities under a single higher authority. In Asia, Hinduism and Buddhism offered paths of duty and compassion, while Confucianism trained generations of officials to govern by virtue. Across the globe, ideas became institutions, and trust began to scale. Empires gave these institutions reach, from Persia and Rome to the Mauryan and Han dynasties. Vast networks of roads, canals, and couriers stitched distant peoples together. These arteries carried more than taxes and troops. They carried silk, spices, and stories. The Silk Roads, the Indian Ocean, and the Sahara became the world's first global highways. The Mongol Empire briefly united these paths, accelerating exchange, but also the spread of devastation like the Black Death. Then, from the shores of Europe, new voyages connected continents once separated by oceans. The Columbian Exchange rewove the planet's ecology, a violent, transformative bargain whose consequences are on our plates and in our headlines to this day. And just as the world's oceans shrank, a new power was gathering. It hissed in a Paris workshop, in the hot lead of a printing press. Ideas could now move at unimaginable speed. Soon, steam became the world's new muscle, powering factories that darkened city skies. In this new world, ideologies like liberalism, socialism, and nationalism offered competing visions of order and belonging. But they also raised a burning question: whose freedom was being promised, and at whose cost? Revolutions erupted. Empires tightened their grip, then shattered in the fires of two world wars. In their wake, new flags rose across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, as old borders were redrawn and new futures imagined. The last century saw a world divided by the Cold War, yet increasingly connected by trade, migration, and digital networks that now link our lives in an instant. Today, artificial intelligence shapes our communities, while climate shocks and pandemics test our resilience. This long shared history is not a story of the past. It is the living framework of the present, shaping the choices we face on our streets, in our governments, and on our screens. It is the context for every challenge and every opportunity. And it leads us to this moment, where the rival visions of our time meet the choices not yet made.